Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm taping this in early January, so I hope everyone had a great time over the holidays. Did you end up having a white Christmas where you live? Now, as usual in Oklahoma, we very rarely do. But one place where I'm sure you can always probably experience a white Christmas, at least somewhere in the state, is in Colorado, the subject of today's video. Despite all the natural beauty the state has going for it, and there's a lot of it, an interesting thing is taking place. It turns out more folks these days are moving out of Colorado than are moving in. In 2022, much like California, which I talk about here, Colorado's had a net outflow of nearly 240,000 people, significantly higher than typically occurring in previous years. And apparently, many of those leaving are older folks like yours truly. For those that did leave, as it turns out, many of them are moving to Oklahoma City from Denver, as you can see on this recent migration map I got from Redfin. So why are people leaving this beautiful state? Well, beyond the typical things like moving because of a job change or, to be closer to family, in today's video I'll cover 5 other significant reasons my research has uncovered that explains why people are currently packing up and leaving Colorado. Now, looking at these 5 categories, I'll compare Colorado to Oklahoma and discuss why I believe Oklahoma is attracting many of these folks who are now choosing to make the Sooner State their new home. Before we dive in, let me introduce myself. My name is Lynn Taggart, and I'm a realtor and YouTuber here in Central Oklahoma. And I'm also a lifelong Oklahoma City resident, and I make my YouTube videos to try and help people contemplating a move here, understanding just what living here is like, shooting straight with you on both the pros and the cons, to help you decide if this place is for you and your family before you make the big leap. I made a video on this very thing here. Now, as you can see on the Redfin map I showed previously, lots of folks are coming here from all across the U.S., in particular from the West Coast. If you're interested in learning more about how I can help you, check out my new website, lyntaggartrealtor.com, and there you can request a comprehensive Oklahoma relocation guide, which is jam-packed with helpful information about this place. And also, while there, you can book a Zoom call to talk with me, whether you're interested in either buying or selling. I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Also, do me a huge favor, hit the like and subscribe buttons while we're at it. Doing so lets the YouTube algorithm know that, you're enjoying the content I'm putting out, and frankly, keeps me motivated to keep making these little jewels. So without further ado, no particular order, here are 5 key reasons people are ditching Colorado and heading to Oklahoma. Comment down below, did I get this list right? If not, what ones did I miss? All right, number 1, cost of living. This one is the biggest of the 5 and where Oklahoma really shines in comparison to all other states, not just Colorado. Now, comparing the 2 states nationally, according to U.S. News and World Reports, for 2024, Oklahoma ranks number 7, which, by the way, the lower the number, the better, when it comes to having the lowest cost of living in the U.S. By contrast, Colorado comes in way down the list at number 39, quite a discrepancy. Housing affordability is no different. Oklahoma comes in at number 6, again, the lower the better, with a median home price of only $196,000. Homes in Colorado are way more expensive, coming in at number 41 in the country with a median home price of $527,000. Yikes. Nearly triple Oklahoma's prices. So that's a comparison on a statewide basis. What about each state's largest cities, Denver and Oklahoma City? Now, as you would expect, the trend remains the same. Comparing Oklahoma City to Denver, according to a study by NerdWallet, Oklahoma City's overall cost of living is 22% lower than Denver's. Put it another way, a $39,000 salary in Oklahoma City would require a $50,000 salary in Denver to maintain the same standard of living. Breaking down the numbers further by category, Oklahoma City's housing costs are 47% lower than Denver's. Transportation, gas prices, are 5% lower, food costs are 12% lower, entertainment costs are 17% lower. The only category where Denver beats Oklahoma City is healthcare, with Oklahoma City's costs running 8% higher than Denver's. When you take it as a group, that is the reason why folks are packing up and heading to the Sooner State. Not just from Colorado, mind you, but from all over the U.S. But there are other reasons contributing to the decision to leave the state, such as, number 2, crime. Not only is Colorado more expensive than Oklahoma, but Colorado is also a more dangerous place to live than Oklahoma. The FBI's crime statistics for 2022 bear this out. And when you talk about crime statistics, you should know that the FBI stats fall into 2 categories: violent crimes and property crimes. So what does violent crimes consist of? Well, truly unpleasant things like murder, manslaughter, rape, aggravated assault, armed robbery, and kidnapping. Property crimes typically consist of things like burglary, auto theft, and arson. For both violent and property crimes, Colorado wins the prize, and not in a good way. Colorado is ranked as the 7th most dangerous state in the U.S. when it comes to violent crime, 29% higher than the national average. Now, Oklahoma, while not great, comes in at number 15 at a rate 10% higher than the national average. Same thing with property crimes, but here it's even worse. Colorado comes in as having the second most property crimes in the U.S., 61% higher than the national average. Yo! Oklahoma comes in at number 11, 19% higher than the national average. The perception that Colorado is becoming a more dangerous place is borne out by the statistics. When it comes to violent crime, unfortunately, Colorado's numbers are trending the wrong way, increasing over the last 4 years, while Oklahoma's numbers are trending the other way, decreasing every year for the last 4 years. What doesn't help the national perception that Colorado is increasingly a dangerous place to live, especially in Denver, was the news last fall that violent Venezuelan gangs had taken over multiple apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado, which is a prominent Denver suburb. Full disclosure, I lived in Aurora several decades ago. And then again in December of last year, the news broke that Aurora police had detained 19 Venezuelan gang members at an apartment complex in Aurora in conjunction with several violent home invasions, where tenants were allegedly tied up and beaten. Not good at all. Could something like that happen in Oklahoma? Well, I suppose anything's possible, but I have my doubts it would occur here. Why? Well, Oklahoma is an open carry state, and as such, folks around here own lots of guns, which would obviously be a major deterrent to this kind of brazen lawlessness. Number 3, homelessness. Now, this one is admittedly just sad, no matter how you try to analyze it, regardless of where you live. Unfortunately, Colorado's largest city, Denver, has one of the largest homeless populations in the U.S., coming in at number 5, behind number 4, San Diego, number 3, Seattle, number 2, LA, and number 1, New York City. Now, in terms of numbers, Denver's homeless population totals over 10,000 folks, or 15.1 homeless persons for every 1,000 residents. And by the way, Colorado's next highest city, Colorado Springs, only has about 1,300 homeless. Numbers for Denver are increasing, not decreasing. Since 2020, Denver's homeless population has increased 66%. By contrast, Oklahoma as a state has only about 2,600 homeless folks in total for the entire state. Broken out by city, Oklahoma City's homeless population numbers less than 1,500, with Tulsa coming in at around 1,100. What makes Denver's problem especially concerning is the harsh winters that the homeless in Denver must endure annually. And that brings us to number 4, the weather. With the state being synonymous with the majestic Rocky Mountains, it's no surprise to anyone that winters in Colorado can be extreme. In other words, Colorado gets a ton of snow. The average annual snowfall amount in Denver is around 60 inches, 60. In Oklahoma City, we're lucky if we get 4 to 6 inches of snow over the entire winter. In some winters, it's less than that. And humidity levels in Colorado are much, much lower than Oklahoma, leading to dry skin, chapped lips, and a lot of static electricity. Along with the cold, the high altitude may also be a contributor for why people are leaving the state. Having lived there, I can attest that there are challenges when living at altitude. With Denver sitting at a mile high, I had real problems adapting, even as a young man. Out of breath going up a flight of stairs, lots of nosebleeds, etc. And I can vouch for the fact that altitude sickness, it's a real thing. Hey, blacking out and doing a face plant in the snow in front of your friends at a ski outing in nearby Breckenridge in the mountains west of Denver, as a result of the altitude, was no fun. I mentioned at the outset that the net migration numbers are showing that most of the people fleeing the state are older. Hey, a desire to leave both the cold and the altitude may be part of the reason why. I can relate. It's hard for us old people to stay warm, let alone breathe that thin air. Number 5, politics. Okay, I saved the most controversial reason that folks are apparently leaving Colorado to the very end. Sadly, politics in America is now more divisive than ever, and nowhere is this divide more apparent than when comparing the politics of Colorado to the politics of Oklahoma. About as stark of a difference as possible. Beginning back in the 2010s, Colorado began to turn Democratic, and now Colorado is very blue and a hotbed of liberal politics. Just how blue is the state? Well, let's start off with the fact that Colorado is a sanctuary state. Both of Colorado's U.S. senators are Democrats, and 5 of its 8 U.S. representatives are Democrats. Colorado's governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and secretary of state are all Democrats. Most of its state representatives and senators are also Democrats. According to Wikipedia, the ideology of the Colorado Democratic Party is, quote-unquote, modern liberalism. In early 2024, the Colorado Supreme Court, in a highly controversial landmark decision, voted to keep Donald Trump off the ballot in Colorado for the fall 2024 presidential election. Now, that decision was eventually struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court, and Trump was allowed to remain on the ballot for the November general election. Now, not that it did much good. Trump's opponent in the 2024 presidential election, Kamala Harris, won the state of Colorado and its 10 electoral votes with an 11-point victory over Trump. Now, contrast that with Oklahoma. Oklahoma is red, very red, and it's no surprise that Oklahoma is not a sanctuary state. Both of Oklahoma's U.S. senators are Republican. All 5 of our U.S. representatives are Republican. Oklahoma's governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and secretary of state, they're all Republican. Most of its state representatives and senators are also Republican. Wikipedia says the ideology of the Oklahoma Republican Party is, quote unquote, conservatism. In the 2024 presidential election, Trump won all 77 counties in the state and garnered 66% of the vote, capturing all 7 of Oklahoma's electoral vote. Oklahoma and West Virginia are the only 2 states where every county voted for Trump, and no surprise here, both states are solid red. I talk about just how conservative Oklahoma is in this video here. As you can see on the map showing the results of the 2024 presidential election in Colorado, there is a large, mostly rural portion of the state that is in fact Republican, while all the other major cities in the state, that being Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, etc., are considered very liberal. The area around Colorado Springs, with its large military presence, is known for its strong conservative base. Be that as it may, the fact remains that Colorado state government is tightly controlled by Democrats, who embrace and routinely implement liberal policy. And for that reason, a certain percentage of Colorado residents, ones that hold on to more conservative values, are increasingly becoming fed up with the situation, leading many to pack up and flat out leave the state as a result. A lot of these folks are ending up in red state Oklahoma, where a more conservative ideology is prevalent, and where they will likely find themselves surrounded by others that share their same traditional values. So those are 5 maybe not so obvious reasons why folks are packing up and leaving beautiful, colorful Colorado, and yes, many of them are heading to Oklahoma to live. But is Oklahoma a perfect place? Of course not. Not even close. In this video here, I talk about all the reasons why you should not move to Oklahoma. We most definitely have our quirks, but the vast majority who have found a home here love it and intend to stay. Now, if you're interested in learning more about this place, I encourage you to check out my contact information on my website, as I mentioned earlier, lyntaggartrealtor.com. And there you can order a cool, informative Oklahoma relocation guide. More importantly, you can book a Zoom call where I can answer all of your questions about what it's really like living here. But before we get out of here, do me a big favor and hit those like and subscribe buttons. I would really appreciate the gesture. So thanks again for watching, and bless you all for sticking around to the very end. I hope you found this information helpful. That's all for now. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.